Hello everybody, it's Dr. V. Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to give you this week's twin flame, divine lovers, sacred sidekick, soulmate, whatever label you choose to apply to your connection. It's going to take a peek at the energies of what's going on this week. I have Kali here with me on the desk, on the table rather, for this reading. And we're going to just jump right in. Thank you to all my new subscribers, to everybody who's liked, commented, and shared. I appreciate it. And if you want to book a private reading, all of the information on how to do that is in the description box below. And that's about it. Spirit, please use me as a clear channel for communication. May the messages that come through be in the highest good of all those concerned. I draw a sacred circle around the space, setting my ego to the outside. I call upon ascended masters, my council, ancestors, and guides to be with me to protect this space and the messages. May the information that comes through serve the highest good of all those concerned. So it is. All right, so I'm going to start off with the Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine Reunited deck by Christabel Jessica, and that's going to give us an overview of the energies. So we'll see what the heck is going on. Then we'll dive in a little bit deeper. Okie dokie. So, Divine Feminine, bringing in the goddess of sensuality. So this is a very interesting, I'm bringing this up again. I've said this before, but this whenever I see this goddess of sensuality, it really brings to mind and to my awareness what happens on the individual level is often happening on a collective level. So when we see things that come up in individual readings, it often is repetitive throughout the collective. A lot of times people are dealing with the same things. And right now, as a society, as a culture, as a world, we're dealing with a lot of the historical, patriarchal abuses of women. We're seeing this with this current scandal that's going on right now in the United States with the Supreme Court nomination who's been accused of sexually assaulting. Now there was just one, but now they're not just one. There was one woman, and now there's been a couple more that have come forward. So, and we're looking at how this abuse of women has been perpetuated, abuse of the feminine has been perpetuated through our culture and through our societies. And it's coming up. When these things come up, they come up to be healed, okay? They don't come up just for, for lack of a better term, for shits and giggles. They come up so that they can be healed, so that people can transmute and transform the energy. So I'm not at all surprised to see this goddess showing up today. Goddess of sensuality. It is literally about this in the deck. This book, the deck of this. Goodness gracious, easy for me to say. The book of this deck describes this card as reclaiming healing through sexuality. It's literally saying that so many times that women, the feminines, have withheld their sexual power and withheld their power as a whole because of the trauma of being a feminine in this society. In this world. I mean, this has been going on it's not just this current society, it's been going on for ages. And so when women or feminines have experienced sexual abuse, it really hinders their ability to stand in their power and to be able to move in their own bodies with confidence and with assurance. And so this is coming up right now for a lot of feminines to embrace this healing, to take back the power that we have as feminines that has been misused over the centuries. So this is really taking the time to acknowledge any kind of traumas that you might have experienced as a feminine in regard to your sensuality and your sexuality, so that you can become that powerful being, because so much of our feminine power is through our sensuality and our sexuality. And if we are cut off from that aspect of ourselves because of trauma or because of pain, we lose a vital aspect of who we are. So that is what's happening for the feminines right now. And oh, I love this. God, this is freaking amazing. So much alignment here. So the god of protection is showing up for the masculines. And so what I'm getting right now is that the masculines are recognizing what I was just talking about. A lot of masculines are becoming more and more conscious around this how many feminines have really been subject to abuse. So we've seen it. If you've been looking at the news, you've seen a lot of just really ridiculous comments like, well, what 17-year-old boy hasn't done that? Along with a lot of females and feminines and men as well that are talking about their own instances of having been traumatized by abuse. And so what I'm getting right now is that the masculines are really becoming awakened to the fact that this is a serious problem, and it's a serious problem that needs to be healed. And they're looking at the ways in which they have abdicated their responsibility, that they have not protected the feminine as masculines and feminines in human form, as well as not having protected their own inner feminine, where they've shut down that voice of empathy and tenderness and receptivity, and have gone toward in that forceful way. And so it really feels like the masculines are starting to see the depth of the feminine's pain, and recognizing that they have a sense of responsibility to do their part to shift that, so that the feminine is no longer feeling like they have to be on guard all the time, or that they have to be cautious all the time. And so on a collective level, it feels like there is this mass awakening that's happening right now. And on individual levels within these connections, this could be forcing your own masculines to take a peek at themselves and be like, gosh, how many ways have I perpetuated these cycles? What ways have I contributed to harm or to pain to my feminine? And how can I shift that energy so I can become more of the protective force that the feminine needs? And it's not to say that the feminines are weak. Feminines are not weak. Feminines are very powerful. It's recognizing that sometimes there is the masculine can step up and be more of a protective force. So the shadow side of the connection right now is karma. So people are working through karma. That really could be what's happening right now with on a societal level, on a collective, like macro level, is that there's this collective clearing of karma. This is saying there are certain karmic patterns, karmic ties, karmic situations that are still playing out that need to be moved through. But the positive thing is that it is actually happening. People are actually doing their work and moving through this karma. Karma can be, I think people give karma a bad name. You know, like you get things like where something bad happens and people are like, oh, karma's a bitch. And it's like, well, no, karma's only a bitch if you are. But really that's sort of this oversimplification of what the whole what karma is, because it's a little bit more complex than what goes around comes around, but that's a pretty basic understanding. But this is it's not like rewards or punishments, you know, it's not like a merit system that you get from the universe because of your behavior or anything like that. It's really about helping to achieve a sense of balance. And so this is saying that whenever we see karma coming up, it's about helping people to evolve and to grow. It's not like, again, like merits, okay, meritorious at all. It's about cause and effect. It's that law of cause and effect. If you put something out there, you're going to get something similar back. It's about keeping balance. The universe is committed to staying in balance, and so when there is an imbalance, there is a natural pull for the universe to seek balance. Okay, so this can be, this can show up in ways where people are responding really strongly to situations in your connection, perhaps, that aren't necessarily, the situation maybe doesn't warrant that kind of response, but that's how they're responding. That may be them clearing out karmic cycles. So let's just say, for example, that your counterpart has stopped talking to you and maybe has cut you off for some reason. because you set a boundary. Well, that karma for them might have been that in the past they felt rejected, and they may need to learn to achieve some balance in that. So this is what's being worked out right now, is really clearing out some karma. And then the light side of this connection is energy. So I want to point this out really quick. We've got a 7 and a 2. Okay, that was, this 5 and a 2, which is a 7 and a 7. And I believe that it was Marla at Twin Astrology, or maybe it was Melanie at Whole Again 1111, that was talking about the repetitive 7s that have been coming up. And so I thought that was interesting, as along with the 4 in the middle. So we have energy. Whether you know it or not, you're exchanging energy. If you're in a twin flame connection, you are exchanging energy with your counterpart, because that is just the nature of the connection. You can feel each other whether you're in communication or not. You can feel each other whether you're things are going well or they're not going well. If whatever, like, energy speaks, right? Here's the deal. Like, if you're paying attention to energy, if you are a person who learns to listen to energy and to feel energy, then you can get what people are saying even when they're not speaking. And right now, there is a lot of energy exchange that's happening. You may have been having vivid dreams. You may have been feeling very connected with your counterpart. You may have been feeling messages from them, or hearing messages, or feeling like, oh my gosh, I feel like we may communicate at some point. I feel like they may be coming back toward me in some sense. That may all be true, because the energy exchange is really significant right now. People really are getting and giving a lot of energy in this connection. It's just what's happening. It's also healing. So the more healing that you do in your own journey, the more that it helps your counterpart to do their healing. Now, I'm not suggesting that one person is responsible for the whole thing, because that's not right. That's not just. But I'm saying that as you heal and you focus and you break patterns in your own life, you're contributing to help heal the situation and the connection for both people. However, the other party has to do their own work too. It's not like it's just going to be one person that's going to do all the work and it's going to magically heal. Like, that's not how this connection works. Both people have to be willing to face their stuff and do their healing. But that is saying that there is a lot of energetic communication, a lot of energetic connection happening right now. And so if you've been feeling that, that's why. It's very, very powerful and very real right now. So moving this aside, and we're going to look at connective energies. I'm using the Mythical Goddess Tarot right now. The energies we just got were the overview. That's sort of the overarching energies. Now we're going to look at the connective. What is not holding this connection together, but what is tying it together? What's pulling to each other? What is each person bringing to the connection? Probably hear my dog sneezing outside my door, so. Oh, God bless you, Dory. God bless you. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I rarely baby talked to my kids, but I baby talk to my dogs, who are old. All right, so the connective energy. We've got regeneration. Got a lot of fire. Completion. Oh my gosh, look at all that fire, you guys. This is wild. Woo! Prepare to have the heat turned up. My goodness. So we have regeneration. Okay, this is the card of regeneration. This is when people are like, when things are burned away and they have an opportunity to come back around. This is similar to the Phoenix card. This is similar to that kind of energy where things are burned away and then an opportunity to come back. So this card is connected to the Kundalini. Okay, so this is purification by fire. This is literally about people being in this space of entire, like, everything needs to be regenerated. It's like, rebooting the system, so to speak, transmuting and regenerating DNA. this is about really getting into that space where you can be regenerated so that you can move into wholeness and really get into committed and into your sacred path. This is a regeneration of vitality, willpower, and it's about coming back into completeness and power. Then we have completion, literally completion. These two cards are about completion. We're talking about purification. Seriously, these messages couldn't get any clearer. Completion of cycles, okay? This is something that began a long time ago. And I don't mean like in this lifetime necessarily. This feels like completion of cycles that have been going on for a really, really, really long time. This is about the coming full circle. This is about things finally coming to an end. Things are coming to completion right now. So whether this is, if you're in a karmic situation or some kind of karmic cycle, it's coming to an end. If you've been in a pattern that has been kind of ad nauseum, rinse, wash, repeat, it's like that is coming to an end. These cycles are coming to an end, and you have a choice. You can either do it yourself consciously, breaking free from the patterns that have been holding you back, taking new directions, creating new belief systems. You can either do that, or it's going to happen to you. Divine intervention, if you will. But definitely things are coming to an end. This is about, if there is any unfinished business in your life, this is the time to clear it up. This is the time to make amends in your past. And making amends is about bringing back justice in any way possible. So this literally could be, and I'm not saying that you should connect with or communicate with your twin flame if you're not in communication, but if there is unfinished business and you're holding on to something and you need to release, this is the time to do that. You can release sending a letter that you write and then burn. If you feel led, you can actually communicate with them to release and bring things to an end and come to a space of completion, whatever it is for you. Again, I'm not advising you to reach out to your twin flame unless it's something that spirit is saying to you. You can achieve completion and wholeness and finish things out on your own without them. But this is literally saying it's time for you to empty yourself so that you can create space for something new, because there is something new that wants to come in. Then we have, one of my favorite goddesses, as you all know. I have a thing for the destructive goddesses. I've noticed that. I like to be, personally, I'm one of those people that I like to kind of be in the fire and get purified. I don't want to be someone who walks around unconscious and unaware. And so if it means jumping into the fire pit to get purified, then I'm like, sign me up. I've never been one to like run, well, not never, but most of my life I've not been one to run away from pain. From cleansing. So we've got Madame Pele just really coming in this sense of this is the ultimate purification. This is transforming, transmuting the old into new. She comes with an energy of righteous anger and a demand for respect, okay? That's one of the messages that is in this card is righteous indignation, righteous anger. No, you don't get to treat me this way. No, I will not live this way. And I'm not saying you treat me this way, because that can be us as well. Sometimes I think like if the way that we treat ourselves, is sometimes worse than anybody else. Like if your best friend spoke to you the way that you speak to yourself, would that still be your best friend? So this is really getting into that space of no more excuses, no more bullshit, no more of any of the stuff that is not serving anymore. It's time to rise up and change. It's time to transmute. This is a time to really fully align with spirit and really allow things that no longer serve you to be burned away from your life so that you can get into the next level. I'm getting this energy of like really massive upgrade time right now, guys, that people are going to be really seeing some significant transformations in their lives in the next short while. And you have a way of choosing how you go about it. You either let go of the stuff that no longer serves you, and you know what that is. If I'm saying it, you know what it is. You know that if it's something, if it's beneficial, if it's not. You have to choose whether or not you want to continue. So what is the divine masculine bringing to the situation? Intention, fruition. and manifestation. So the masculines are getting really clear on their intentions. They're starting to see things that they really want, not what they've been told to want, not what they've been what people have said that they should want. This is them really getting clear in their own, what is it in their own frame of mind? What is it that I want? Aligning with their heart. What is it that I need? What matters to me? It's really getting into that space and then bringing it into fruition. I had this last night, this message, this download about people are so much more powerful than they even know. That if you really set an intention and you put things out there, it will come to pass. If you're not seeing things come to pass, and I'm not again saying, I'm not necessarily speaking in terms of twin flame connections, because there's other dynamics at play in this, but it's like if you want a job, if you've been thinking about getting a job but you haven't had it, I would really suggest that you get clear on your intentions, because we are very powerful creators right now. Last week I had this idea, to go on a trip, and I literally said, if there's an opportunity that rises for me to be able to do this, then I will. And I'm not kidding you, within like 30 minutes an opportunity showed up, and within 2 hours I was booked on a trip, like my plane ticket, plans, it was just like that. So my point being that it's really important that you get clear on your intentions and set that out there. It feels like the masculines are getting very clear on that. They're starting to understand that they have the power to set intentions and bring things into fruition, and they're starting to learn that. It feels almost like in the Harry Potter movies, where they're just beginning to learn their power, and sometimes they like accidentally zap the wrong thing. It feels like that's kind of what's happening with the masculines, is that they're setting intentions unwittingly, not necessarily knowing, and then seeing it come to pass, and that is leading them to understand that they are really co-creating their own reality. And they are manifesting. I really feel like the masculines are in a space of really bringing in a lot of manifestations. Now, again, they may be manifesting things that aren't necessarily in their highest good if they're not clear on their intentions and what they want to bring into fruition. That's why it's so important to master your energies and the words and the things that you say. I hear people all the time. I read comments. And by the way, if you make negative comments, I just delete them. I'm not even going to engage with that, because it just doesn't serve anything. So if you come into the comment section and you're like, my twin flame is a piece of shit and things are never going to change and he's a liar and a player and this, that, and the other. Well, you know what? Your life follows your words, okay? And if you're putting shit out there like that in the universe, guess what you're going to manifest? That's the plain and simple truth. Now, I'm not dismissing things like social factors, and I don't believe that you can love and light your way out of trauma and oppression. Okay, I'm not foolish like that. But what I am saying is that if you're putting shit out there in the universe that's negative, if you're saying negative things about your counterpart, guess what's going to happen? You're going to create and continue to manifest those same cycles. That's the point of this journey, is ascension and transformation and personal growth. If we can master that and see the God in someone in spite of their lower level energies, then we know we're on the right path again. And I'm not saying that you're codependent and that you enable that. Sometimes the most empowering thing you can do is walk away from someone you love, and sometimes that can be the most healing thing for them as well. But my point is that if you're not clear about what you're intending and you're putting stuff out there in the universe, you're going to manifest some things that you don't necessarily want to bring into your life. Mind your energy, mind your words, mind your thoughts. So then what is the feminine bringing? Again, end of cycles, birth, and compassion. So here's something I want to point out. There's a lot of earth energy here. What I'm getting right is that for a lot of things that have been happening up in the higher dimensions, in the 5D areas, right? Because I've mentioned this before, that it happens in the higher dimensions before it happens in earth. It has to translate down, okay? There's some time with that. And so sometimes when you get really good at manifesting, you can manifest things like a lot faster. Sometimes it takes a while. There have been things that have been working in the 5D for a really long time. People have stayed committed to their vision, committed to their beliefs. And it's starting to happen in the physical, this earth, in the earth realm, not in the spiritual realm, in the physical. Cycles are coming to an end. That's what, like the third time that this message has come through. This is the end of cycles. Things are coming to an end. And so prepare yourself. Prepare yourself to see things coming to an end. I have no idea what that might mean for each individual person, but be prepared for it. Because you're ready to give birth to something new. There's something new that wants to be birthed, that needs to be birthed, and it's time to allow that to happen. It's super important to remember that. And now remember also when it comes to birthing, that you can't force it, and you can't force it before it's ready, and you can't stop it when it's time. That's it, plain and simple. If you ever watched a person giving birth, or if you've ever given birth yourself, you'll understand what I mean. It's like once that process is in motion, you can do everything that you can, including holding the baby's head in, and it's still going to happen. That's just the way it is. And up until the time is ready, there's not a whole lot you can do to force it. So you just have to be prepared and be ready for that to happen. So literally, like Spirit saying, like metaphorically, pack your bags and get ready to go, because when it's time, it's time. You know, when you're preparing to give birth to a child, you have to prepare a bag, like an overnight bag for the hospital if that's where you're delivering. And so your doctor will tell you have your bag packed a month in advance, so that when it's time you can go. And that's what the Spirit is saying. It's like, get your bag packed, your metaphysical, metaphorical bag packed, because when it's time, it's time. Now there's also this sense of compassion that's coming through with the feminines. The feminines are really stepping into this space of being able to be more compassionate with themselves and with humanity, with their counterpart, really being in a space of understanding. Right, understanding that even if for whatever reason your counterpart can't come towards you right now, that you're understanding that there's, and coming from a space of compassion, of recognizing that maybe this is a person that's just in a different space in life right now, and maybe this is just what needs to be, and not being judgmental, not being depressed or heartbroken about it, but just being compassionate. So what is ahead for the connection? We have alchemy. Oh my God, you guys, are you kidding me right now? Sacred fire. Now, I said, oh my God, because first of all, because I tend, I have a flair for the dramatic. I'm just going to be real. But this card right here, this is, for me, my personal twin flame confirmation card. When I asked for confirmation about my twin flame connection, it was this image that I asked. I asked the universe to show me 3 pink flamingos over the course of the next week, if that was indeed my twin flame. And I was traveling, and it was the winter, and I saw 3 freaking pink flamingos that week, and I was like, what the, it was very baffling to me. I mean, it was like, not baffling, but like awestruck. I was like, okay, this is wild. My point being that whenever that card's showing up, just gives me goosebumps. So alchemy, this is the beauty for ashes card, okay? This is where you take a shitty situation, you make something beautiful out of it. These are the people who have like tragedies hit their life, and they make something beautiful. It's the young woman who just passed away last, I think, couple of weeks ago from cystic fibrosis perhaps, and how she really just used her diagnosis and all of what she was going with and made such a wonderful impact on the world. This is what's ahead. It's people taking the painful circumstances, taking the mud, taking the dirt, and creating gold out of it. This is what is happening. It's beautiful. And then we have this balance card. This to me could really suggest that people may be coming back into communication, into some sort of union with their counterpart. When I say that, I don't mean happily ever after kind of union. The energy that has been coming up for quite a while is people being able to come to some sort of resolution, to close some doors, to feel more peaceful about the direction that things are going in, or where things are currently. Really coming into this space of, yes, there will be some that will come into full union, where there will be, couples, and they'll be happily ever after. There will be some of those, absolutely. There will also be those who, for whatever reason, are not able to be in that space right now. Compassion, right? Maybe they've got children that they can't they don't feel like they can leave at this point. Maybe they've got a sick parent that they need to take care of, and they just can't come into full union because of that. And so there's going to be this sense, this compassion is going to help people to understand. But I really do feel like there is a sense of peace coming, where people are going to be able to find that sense of balance, find that sense of peace in whatever their connection holds. And then we have white buffalo calf woman, sacred fire. I really love this card for many reasons, but this is a beautiful energy about using the laws of the universe in your favor. It's also a card about, excuse me, again, intention. Okay, this is a card of strength. It's a card of courage. It's saying that it's learning how to master your domain of yourself, really integrating any of your shadow side, any of your darkness, learning to live with reverence for the sacred always, regardless of what's happening. It's literally about consuming the darkness of life, the darkness of connection, the darkness that we feel, and transmuting it into life, into life-giving energies. This is about being able to bring light into the darkness. It's very, very beautiful. I can't tell you how beautiful the energies are right now. Like, I just feel so much peace and love and beauty that is present for people right now. So I am going to move these aside, and I want to use the shamanic healing oracles to get messages about what is the current blocks in this situation. We'll look at blocks, and then we'll look at advice. So, current blocks: retreat and death. Wow. So retreat, this is the energy of kind of getting away, stepping out from the world. You may need to break your ordinary routine to get out of this. You may need to, if you drive the same way to work every day, shift it up. If you do the same thing all the time, shift it up. Remember, if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. So this is a time to really go into a space of retreat. I have a girlfriend who's going into a silent retreat, 7-day silent retreat. She's probably listening. Shout out to you if you are. And that's something that is going to be really transformative, right? And so this is something that people go into a retreat mode. That may mean unplugging from social media for a week. It may mean just instead of watching TV at night or watching Netflix or tuning out with a couple glasses of wine or whatever that might mean. It's literally be very, very present and retreat from the ordinary. Go within, get into a new routine. I don't even want to say a new routine. Break that routine, break whatever habits and patterns that you have. This is a card of really getting your shit together, getting your ducks in a row, because changes are coming. This is literally like what I was saying earlier, getting your metaphorical hospital bag packed. What do you have to do to get ready for the next phase? If your life isn't in alignment with what you want to happen next, you need to get it prepared. If you don't have space in your life for your twin to come back, if you're still dealing with all sorts of other things, karmic energies, karmic patterns, then you're going to have to clean that up in order to get what it is that you desire. This is definitely a time to just do whatever it is to be prepared. Too many people I know have this for a fact, just with doing the work that I do, are like, oh, I want my twin to come back, I want my twin to come back, and then they don't do their work, and then their twin comes back and they end up sabotaging it because they weren't prepared. So be prepared. This card of death, I'm telling y'all, there are some things that need to die, period. Okay? This is an ending, but an ending always suggests a new beginning. It's let go of whatever it is that you need to let go gracefully. The card says, do not attach yourself to the emotions and the energy of what is ending. Feel it, experience it, and then let it go. A slight shift in perspective is sometimes is sometimes all that is needed to experience this transition with grace and ease. Instead of thinking, oh no, I have to start all over, shift your perspective slightly and think, yay, I get to start over. This shift will raise your energies, vibrations, and carry you through this time of change. So there is definitely endings ahead, so let go gracefully. The advice that Spirit has, honoring your energy, and new day. I don't know how much clearer these messages can get. So honor your energy. This is saying, if you feel tired and you just want to like lounge. If you feel like you want to go for a walk, go for a walk. But this is saying, like, don't feel like you should do anything. You know that saying, you're like shooting all over yourself? Stop shooting all over yourself. Follow your energy patterns. If you feel energetic, if you feel vibrant, do things when you feel that way. If you feel tired, exhausted, need a break, honor that energy as well. This is like recognizing that energies are cycles. They ebb and flow, just like the ocean, just like the moon. Honor that energy. Quit trying to force yourself into being something that you're not. Quit trying to force yourself to be productive and do things that don't serve you anymore just because you feel like you have to. And I'm not saying go into lump on a log mode either. You know, take action, do things, but recognize if you're exhausted and you don't have anything to give, it doesn't really serve you to try and force things. So then we have new day. You guys, right after death, we have a new day. There is a new day coming. And this is something is, is happening. Something is shifting. It's saying not everything has unfolded yet. There's still more that's going to happen, but be prepared for it because it is happening. So moving this aside. And I'm going to use Universal Love Oracle to get some messages. I've been moving away from using the Romance Oracle by Doreen Virtue because I feel like twin flame connections are so much more than romance, and they have been overly romanticized in the New Age movement, in these new communities, and people get caught up on the romance aspect as opposed to the divine love aspect. And so I'll probably use those occasionally and pull them out, but I'm really more interested in focusing on the love aspect and not so much the romance, okay? So, Universal Love Oracle by Tony Carmine Solero. So I want to just get the overall love energy between this connection right now. Tantric union. So right when I say I'm getting away from the romance, then we get the tantric union. Go freaking figure, right? But this is a card of that merge, right? This is that union card. The Tantra is about having this passion, joie de vivre, joy of living, learning to honor and hold sacred the divine within yourself and with others. It's about that internal, powerful internal flame. I'm thinking about that song by the Bangles, Eternal Flame. You can go ahead and listen to that. So super cheesy from like the 90s. And it's sexual and spiritual energy that comes together in a space of wholeness. So it's saying if you don't have to be in a partnership to have tantric union. You can come into this sexual, sensual energy in union of yourself. You can merge through thoughts, through feelings. It doesn't have to necessarily happen physically. So what is in your counterparts' headspace right now? Abundance. They're starting to see the abundance of everything around them. Again, I'm getting that with that fruition card that came up earlier, that they're really starting to see their intentions come into fruition. In their heart space, relationship. So they really do want this relationship. And again, I'm not saying that this is like wanting to be like booed up with you, okay? That may be the case. They may want to be your love thing. That may not be the case. They may not be able to be in that energy right now. For no fault of your own, it has nothing to do with you. It could literally be like circumstantial, but they are thinking about finding, coming into this relationship. They feel like there is some that relationship in their heart space that they do want to have that relationship. They want to have that meaningful connection. And they're also recognizing that some of that is finding that love and that union within, like Whitney Houston, the greatest love of all, right? When you can learn to find that greatest love within, when you can find that, then you can find it out externally. So what is the outcome they secretly desire? Answered prayer. They want their prayers to be answered. They really want this. I mean, well, first of all, I got two messages, okay? Is that they do feel like you were an answer to their prayer. It's like they said at some point, I really wish that I could have this kind of love, and then boom, you showed up, and they're like, wow, here's this energy now, and then maybe they sabotaged it. Maybe there were some things that they kind of fucked it up, and they realize, okay, you know, I did have my prayers answered, and then I did some things that maybe kind of shot myself in the foot. So there was a lot of forgiveness, but they do want the universe to answer their prayers. They know that they've been putting these prayers out there, and they really want that to happen. This card in the book, it says, expect a pleasant surprise in the coming weeks. You guys, I can't tell you any more than that. I literally keep getting the sense that there's going to be a lot of you that are going to hear from your counterpart. You know, that maybe you'll reach out to them initially, or they'll reach out, but there will be, I feel like there's going to be some answered prayers here coming soon, that some of the questions that have been lingering, that you've been holding on to, are going to be answered in some really beautiful ways. So I'm going to move these cards out of the way, and I'm going to look at the messages from their higher self to you. Okay. Couple more messages, Spirit. Couple more messages. Okay, way too many. We'll just take those. The rest of them fell behind my table. So first message, don't make decisions based on guilt or what you think you should do, for it is only being true to yourself that you can be true to others. Next message, embrace. Through each other, you find the missing pieces. Beautiful. Power. You instinctively know what is right for you, and you have the power to say no or walk away at any time. And finally, transformation, of course. Your relationship with one another is about to deepen. Love conquers and transforms all things. So that is your reading for this week. The energies will be applicable to whenever you read this, or listen to this, because it really is an alignment for where people are on their journeys. So I hope that this reading resonated. Please let me know if you have any questions. And if you'd like to book a private reading, all of the information is in the description box. If you'd like to make an energy exchange donation because you get so much value out of these videos, please feel free to click the PayPal link and do so. I appreciate you. I love you all. Take care. Bye.